I will just give you a few examples of comparing the Quran with the modern science, and then I'll throw the floor open for the question and answer session, which is much more enjoyable than a normal talk. In the field of astronomy, there were a group of scientists who described how did our universe come into existence. And they called it the Big Bang. And the scientists, they told us that initially there was one primary nebula. Then there was a secondary separation, a Big Bang, which gave rise to galaxies, the stars, the planets, and the earth on which we live. This, what the scientists discovered about 45, 50 years back in 1970s, is mentioned in the Quran 1400 years ago in Surah Anbiya, chapter number 21, verse number 30, which says that Avalam yaral lazina kafaru, do not the unbelievers see, anna samawati, that the heavens and the earth were joined together, kan taratkan fataknahuma, that the heavens and the earth were joined together and we clove them asunder. This Big Bang, what the scientists discovered hardly 50 years back, is mentioned in the Quran 14 years ago. Previously, we did not know what was the shape of the earth. It was in 1577 when Sir Francis Drake sailed around the earth, he discovered and he proved that the earth is spherical. What we came to know recently, hardly 450 years back, is mentioned in the Quran 14 years ago in Surah Naziyat, chapter number 79, verse number 30, which says, Wal arda ba'da zalika dahaha. And thereafter, we have made the earth egg-shaped. The Arabic word dahaha, one of its meanings expands. The other meaning is derived from the Arabic word dhuya, which means an egg. And it doesn't refer to a normal egg, it specifically refers to the egg of an ostrich. And if we analyze the egg of an ostrich, it's not completely round like a ball, it is flattened from the pole. It is geospherical in shape. Imagine the Quran mentions 1400 years ago that the shape of the earth is geospherical. And when I was in school, I passed my school in 1982. In the subject of science, I had learned that the sun, though it revolved, it did not rotate about its own axis. It was stationary. But when I read a verse of the Quran, in Surah Anbiya, chapter number 21, verse number 33, it says that Huwa allazi khalaqa al-layla wa nahara. It's Allah who has created the night and the day. Wa shamsa wal qamar, the sun and the moon. Kullun fi falaki yasbahun, each one traveling in orbit with its own motion. The Arabic word yasbahun describes the motion of a moving body, saying that the sun and the moon, besides revolving, also rotates about its own axis. And today, after science is advanced, we have come to know that if we have the image of the sun on a tabletop, the sun has got black spots, and these black spots take about 25 days to complete one rotation, indicating that the sun takes about 25 days to complete one rotation. Imagine what I read in school. Today science says that it is wrong, and the Quran mentions 1400 years ago that the sun rotates about its own axis. There may be many skeptics who will say it's nothing great that the Quran speaks about astronomy, since the Arabs were advanced in the field of astronomy. I do agree that the Arabs were advanced in the field of astronomy, but I would like to correct them that it was centuries after the Quran was revealed that the Arabs became advanced in the field of astronomy. So it's not from the Quran that the Arabs learned about astronomy, but it is the vice versa. So it is not that the Quran has picked up from the Arabs, but it is the Arabs who learned from the Quran. And the Quran speaks about various subjects of science. What we learn in school about the water cycle, it was first propounded by Sir Bernard Palissy in 1580. What we learn in school, that the water evaporates from the sky, forms into clouds, moves into interior, it falls down as rain. Previously, we did not know about the water cycle. And the Quran speaks about the water cycle in great detail in several places. In Surah Luqman, chapter number 31, verse number 29. In Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse number 24. The Quran speaks of water cycle in Surah Hijr, chapter number 15, verse 22. In Surah Mu'minun, chapter number 23, verse number 18. In Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 43. In Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse 48. In Surah Araf, chapter number 7, verse 57. Allah says in the Quran in several verses. In Surah Rod, chapter number 13, verse number 17. In Surah Furqan, chapter number 25, verse number 48 and 49. Allah says in Surah Ghashiyah, chapter 45, verse number 5. In Surah Qaf, chapter number 50, verse number 8 and 9. In Surah Mulk, chapter number 67, verse number 30. Allah says in Surah Tariq, chapter number 86, verse number 11. You can keep on quoting only references in the Quran which speaks about the water cycle in great detail.